Good morning, Bronzo. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting the local community. We have shed light on injustices, and we have allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something that you can see yourself supporting, well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. We also ask that you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Remember, Brownsville, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. Well, depends what you're making. All I ask of my community is something very simple. You want us to continue to provide you with the latest information that is happening within our community. All I ask for is a simple subscription on YouTube. It won't cost you a dime. Currently, right now, we are 31, 32 subscribers away from the 1,000 mark. All we ask of my community is something very simple. As of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, make sure that you subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., sometimes a little bit after, religiously. So make sure that you are subscribed to Frankie Olivo TV to tune in. We will not be silenced. And always remember, Brownsville, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you provide us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. I hope each and every one of you had a great yesterday, had a great start to your week. The majority of banks, businesses, for the most part, were closed because of Martin Luther. It was a great day for us to remember our civil rights leaders, activists who fought for equality. It is a beautiful thing. We should not be judged by the color of our skin, but the content of our character, yada, yada, yada. Again, we are in election mode, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the final leg, the final stretch of the race from here till March the 3rd. I know. Quit repeating yourself, but it's important. I need to get all this information to you, the voters, to you, the people, because then it is only then you will have all the information in front of you, and then you can make your decisions on every race throughout the county. There are many important races that we'll be focusing on. We could talk about Cameron County. We could talk about the congressional races. The ones that we have been primarily focusing on is county and Congress. We have been actively supporting someone such as Jonathan Gracia, who has shown previously how his time in office was that of service. He gave $80,000 as a justice of the peace back into the communities, back into the youth, scholarships, to the veterans, to social programs such as Friendship of Women. And even though we identify ourselves as Republican, we have even been criticized by this current leadership of not being Republican enough, that we're Democrats. At the end of the day, we feel as if it is important for us to align ourselves and to support Democrats, Republicans, whoever they may be, who are all about the people. How can I look you in the face and endorse, support a candidate that is all about them? At the end of the day, we want a politician that is active, someone that is giving back. That is why we have been very supportive of someone such as Jonathan Gracia. And I've told you from the beginning, you might find it weird, but here at Good Morning Brownsville, it doesn't matter whether the person is a Republican or a Democrat. At the end of the day, we have a responsibility to you. And I say that because I am not part of the Republican Party leadership. I identify myself as a Republican. I have voted Republican in previous years, but according to Deborah Bell, according to someone such as Minerva Simpson, they think I'm a degenerate. They think I'm a tool, a fool, whatever the word may be. I think they are kind in their words. I've heard of a lot worse. At the end of the day, what matters is what you, the people, need ultimately. Today, ladies and gentlemen, and other races that we'll be covering as well is Precinct 2, where current incumbent Joey Lopez is at the helm. We will talk to different candidates in regards to their respective primaries. We have been focusing on the congressional race with Mayra Flores, and we have focused on Mayra Flores because we believed in her message back in 2020, 2021, and her message continued to resonate with someone such as myself. Why? Because Mayra Flores seems to be for the people. Eric Flores is a Manchurian candidate. He seems too fake. He seems too. Can you relate to somebody that was brought up with a silver spoon in their mouth, that does not know the struggle, does not know of the life of a migrant worker? Do we need another congressman that is an attorney? Mayra Flores made a very interesting point at this past forum that was held by the Northern Club Republican Women's Club, where she said, "We need more of you. We need teachers, plumbers, nurses, mothers. We don't need attorneys." And that kind of caught my attention. That's absolutely right. Who are we going to vote for? For another attorney? We've had many attorneys. Look what they've done to our country. On Thursday, we will break down that forum, that debate that happened at South Padre, the rumble, the candidate rumble at South Padre Island. We'll break it down for you. We'll provide you videos and clips of that forum. But something that stuck out with me is, who do you relate to? You, the common folk in Congressional District 34. Do you relate to an attorney? Someone that does not know the struggle? Someone that has his name, the Flores name, the Quino Flores and Eric Flores' name has been smeared in corruption? His father ultimately was charged with 6 counts of accepting bribes. There is no question that corruption runs rampant in that family. Something, but before I continue, something very interesting that Luis Bentello, the candidate Luis Bentello, stated was that once you get into Washington, you have to be careful because it will suck you dry, because corruption runs rampant in Washington, D.C. Are we going to let someone such as Quino Flores into the den of sheep when he's a wolf? We're going to talk a little bit about Quino Flores today. And also, we have been focusing primarily on the county judge primary race for the Democratic Party. Right now, for the Republican Party, Mauro Garza will face whoever comes out of the March primary, whether there's a runoff or not, in November. Today, we're going to focus on the Democratic primary race because it seems as if we have our very own Benedict Arnold here in the local party of the local Republican Party in Cameron County. Today, I am going to unveil and expose someone that claims to be a Republican, but they're really playing both sides. Republicans of Cameron County, you're going to want to tune in, because a person that claims to be Republican and a strong supporter of the party is a fraud. And that is how we will start today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Good evening. My name is Frank Olivo, and I'm from Brownsville, Texas.
My question is to both candidates. What are your thoughts on this current leadership endorsing and spending hundreds of dollars on the municipal races in the city of Brownsville where they endorse known Democrats? What are your thoughts on that? And would you do that yourself if you were elected? Thank you.
Frankly, actually, as a school board candidate myself, I was not treated fairly. I didn't find out till after my election that the Republican Party had, in fact, provided monetary funding to 2 liberal Democrats in Bronzeville. When Ms. Minerva Simpson had introduced me at a Republican meeting, being the only Republican running. And how would I address it? This is one of the reasons why I'm running for GOP chair. Because I want to make sure that everybody is treated fairly and equally. And we want to continue to vet those candidates. And then from what I understand, they have been funding the Democrats in other elections. I can tell you again for me. I have campaigned. I have block walked. I have helped Ms. Flores. I have helped Jesus Rami Martinez, several of the candidates. Yet, I wasn't allowed to speak by Mr. Berthold because he said that local elections were not important. So, Mr. Garza, and all of you who are endorsing him, you better study your candidates. But thank you all. I will not be doing that. Thank you. 1 minute, Jim.
If I can make a clarification there, the North Cameron County Republican Club has a policy that all candidates are introduced and have 2 minutes. Lorraine did not want to follow that rule, and I said we couldn't change it, and that's every club meeting we go to, it's 2 minutes for every candidate.
That is not true. There's people in here who can testify that that's not what happened. I was taken off the agenda.
Ma'am, there's no.
Okay, I'm just
Jim, did
defending
you want
myself.
to pull back the time on that? Were you finished?
I would just say that Lorraine is never on the agenda, because I create the agenda for every single meeting.
Would he be answering the question in regards to supporting Democrats if he's elected?
Let me clarify that. I am not a precinct chair, and I am not going opportunity in the Republican Party. That is done only by the precinct chair and the chairman of the club. So one, I did not vote on that, nor did I have any size on that, because one, I don't live in Brownsville, and I was not aware of the story that they were discussing.
Okay, thank you.
Interesting to learn what the Jim, the candidate for the Republican chair position, stated. I asked the question, what are your thoughts on current leadership of the Republican Party endorsing Perito Cardenas and Nurit Golonsky, liberal Democrats, in the municipal races for the city of Brownsville? Lorraine De Leon stated that she would not do that, that she herself felt the same thing happen to her. She identifies as a Republican. She has been part of the party. Question, did the Republican Party endorse her, ask her if she needs anything, support, money? One may ask, well, Lorraine was running for a school district. But what is the priority of the Republican Party? Is it not to support Republican candidates? There's something very interesting here within Cameron County with the Republican Party that I just found out maybe 6 months ago, possibly a little bit longer. They claim to be conservative. They claim to be against turncoats. They want die-hard Republicans. It is said that someone such as Minerva Simpson claims that people who endorse Democrats or Democrats that were previously Democrat, they voted Democrat, and they're now Republicans, are considered transplant candidates. Now, myself, I have been accused of not being Republican enough. But yet, Deborah Bell and the Republican leadership for Cameron County, they spent hundreds of dollars on Democrats this past May 2025. So who's a hypocrite? Me, because I identify as a Republican, or someone such as Deborah Bell, who Jim threw her under the bus because Jim said, I had nothing to do with it. That's on the party chair. They decide, the precinct chairs from Brownsville, they decide who gets endorsed. Huh. Now, Minerva Simpson was at one point, possibly currently is, the one vetting the candidates. Did Minerva Simpson know that the party was endorsing Democrats? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're making a big deal out of nothing. To us common folks, it might not be a big deal, but to the Republican Party, they're hardcore. They're on another level. Again, they're conservative. They hate liberals. They have a way, think of it as a religion. My religion is better than yours. My party is better than yours. And you're wrong. Today, we're going to let you know that someone who claims to be a Republican, supports Republicans, is playing both sides. She's playing you like a fiddle. I never got your thoughts in regards to this, Ms. Minerva Simpson. What are your thoughts in regards to the party endorsing and spending money on Democrats? I hope you stick around because we're going to unveil and expose someone within the party leadership who is playing both sides. Let me know how you feel of Deborah Bell. According to Jim, it was Deborah Bell who endorsed, supported, got the thing moving for them. What's your position on that? I haven't heard you speak on that. Whenever we talk about the traitors in history, and I'm a history buff, we all come back to Benedict Arnold. Benedict Arnold was an American military officer during the American Revolutionary War, who became infamous from defecting from the American side to the British. A little rundown in history. There was a time where Benedict Arnold was considered a patriot. He initially fought for the American colonies, and he was a skilled and brave general. He played an important role in early victory battles, including the capture and Battle of Saratoga. This was a major turning point in the war. Now, why did he switch sides? Well, he felt undervalued and mistreated by Congress and other officers. He was in some serious financial trouble and believed that others were being promoted unfairly. These frustrations ultimately led him to secretly negotiate with the opposing side, with the British. Benedict Arnold agreed to hand over West Point, a critical American fort, to the British. The plot was discovered when his British contact, Major John Andre, was captured. Arnold escaped to British lines just in time. Later in life, he became a general in the British Army, but was never really trusted or respected by them. After the war, he lived in England, where he died in 1801. Benedict Arnold, in the United States, the name is synonymous with a traitor. Despite his early heroism, his betrayal ultimately overshadows everything that he did. Today, I want to talk about a person who is the modern day version of Benedict Arnold. Someone that is playing both sides. And if you are Mauro Garza, you need to ask this person some serious questions, Mauro, because it is rumored within your party leadership currently right now that they don't think you're going to win in November, Mauro. They say it doesn't matter whether it's Steve Guerra, whether it's Eddie Trevino or whether it's Eric Garza, you're not going to win, Mauro. I'm not saying it. Your own party is saying it. And as they say, actions speak louder than words. Take a look here. This past weekend was the deadline for filing of campaign finance reports for Cameron County. Steve Guerra, currently right now, is a candidate for Cameron County judge in the Democratic primary. He is challenging, along with Eric Garza, he is challenging incumbent Eddie Trevino, the county judge. And we being nerds, we study campaign finance reports. We study data because at the end of the day, we feel as if it's important for us, the community, to know who campaigns, who supports monetarily these different candidates. Now, I'm not here to say that these people who donate are corrupt, that they expect some sort of something in return. No, by no means. I'm not here to say that. When I ran for public office, I was against accepting donations. I funded my own campaign. I used $7,000 of my own money. And my thought process was that I don't want the people to question me in regards to the different donations if I were to accept them. Now, there's nothing against someone running for office for accepting donations. No. There's nothing wrong with that. I do want to stress that out. But whenever we find out that someone is playing both sides, we start to question the motives and the purpose behind it. This donation made on August the 1st, 2025, caught our attention. Steve Guerra received a donation of $1,000 from SGSW Enterprises, LLC, with an address of 715 North Expressway, Brownsville, Texas, 78520. Is it uncommon for a business to give a donation in the form of an LLC? No, it's not unheard of. But when we found out who this person was, we believe that the reason why they tried to mask their identity was because they didn't want the party to know. What party? The Republican Party. Now, Juan Montoya did an interesting piece on this, on Steve Guerra's campaign finance report. And I'm going to bring that up very quickly. There was a back and forth between Steve Guerra and his team of wanting to conceal the addresses of these people. Let me show you. Juan Montoya stated that there was a back and forth, and I'm going to provide the article. That way you know what I'm talking about. And again, we provide receipts with what we're talking about. It was said that Steve Guerra was crossing out, was blackening out the, and here I have the sites where you can read it yourselves. I won't do it for time constraints, but whenever you're free, read this article. It was said that these people from Steve Guerra's camp, who's running for county judge, tried to omit the addresses of these businesses, of these donations. Why? From my understanding, from reading this, it's against the law. You have to show the person and their address. I could be wrong, but that is how I understood it. And it got me thinking, why would someone such as Steve Guerra want to conceal the address of these people? And more importantly, who is this SGSW Enterprises LLC that has an address of 715 North Expressway, Brownsville, Texas, 78520? What we do here, ladies and gentlemen, is investigative journalism. We investigate and we find out and we provide you with receipts. What do you know? SGSW belongs to Mi Torito restaurant that is located on North 15 North Expressway, Brownsville, Texas, 78520. Who does Torito belong to? You guessed it. None other than Susan for the corrupt Rubalcaba. Now, Susan's a very interesting character, ladies and gentlemen. If you've met her, it's either her way or the highway. You see, she has been claiming to be for the people. At first, we were supportive of someone like Susan. We believe wholeheartedly in her. But after we started getting to know the real Susan, we had a lot of question marks in regards to her motives. Why is she involved in politics? Is it because she wants to provide a better quality of life for you and I? I would say no. We will talk a little bit about, towards the end, the reason why our program believes that Susan is now in politics is because she's struggling financially. Her business is not doing as great as she thought she was doing. I can only speak for myself. I would not take funds from Republican donors and assist candidates who don't have a Republican voting record. However, the decision was made by and only had 4 members vote against it. In my opinion, Susan is an independent. She's not a party. You can agree with me, Minerva Simpson, that Susan Rubalcaba at one point, and I would dare say still is or holds a leadership position within the party. You can claim to say that she withdrew as secretary, but who is she supporting? She's supporting Jim. If Jim gets elected, it's going to be the same dismal, disgraceful tenure as Deborah Bell. You can say and claim that she's independent. She has to answer for herself. She's not the party. I would disagree with that, Minerva. Because again, these ladies, they think they're smart. They're snakes. They're conniving. They're evil. Mauro Garza, how do you feel? Ay, por favor, Minerva. So she's not endorsing Jim so she can run the party just how she did before with Deborah. Come on now. I may be dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I know you think I'm an idiot, Minerva. I'm a lot smarter than what y'all think. How does Mauro feel about this? ¿Qué gacho se siente, Mauro? Que tu propia gente no tiene fe en ti. Now, Susan can say, well, I'm donating to Steve Guerra because I'm against Eddie Treviño. And again, she has every right to do so. She can do as she pleases. But my question is, did she donate to Mauro Garza's camp? Did she donate to Mauro Garza's party? If she did, she's playing both sides. But my thing here is, why is she trying to mask her donation to Steve Guerra? Why doesn't she put her name to it? I made this donation. I'm proud to make this donation. Because she's playing both sides. Because she's a traitor. Oh, so Mauro knows the support that Susan is giving Steve Guerra? You don't even participate in the party. How would I want to participate when people like you are calling me a troll? When people such as Deborah Bell are calling me degenerate and you're liking the thing? You think I want to participate with that? You see, Minerva, I have a problem with you and Deborah and Susan. You think you guys are holier than whole. What's your word that you like to use? A transplant candidate? Come on. If you claim you're a leadership position in the party, why weren't you outspoken about your chairwoman endorsing the Republican Party endorsing Democrats? Why were you quiet? Again, What's that saying in Spanish? I'm just as guilty if I hold the leg for the same one who kills the cow or something. So what? Just because you didn't say anything, oh, I'm against it. Why didn't you say something? Why weren't you vocal about it? You said 4 people were against it. Does your word carry weight within the party? Why? Your true colors. You see, Minerva? You bash people. And look, I have a thick skin. I could care less what people say about me. But you, Deborah, and Susan are the type that say, I'm going to take my ball and leave. What's going to happen, Minerva, when Mayra Flores is the GOP candidate for Congress? Are you going to support her wholeheartedly? It's not about being a voting member. It's about having a voice. It's about speaking out the truth. So what? If you think something is wrong because you said, I'm against it. I would not take funds. Were you outspoken about it? Huh? Did you say anything about it? Why not? You see, you type of people are cowards. Whatever you say goes. If you see something wrong, what? Nope, I don't see anything. What? No, what? No. If we see something wrong, it is our responsibility to say it, to be outspoken. But why doesn't nobody question Deborah? Why didn't nobody question Susan? Because y'all are just as guilty. You claim to be, aren't you a transplant from Willacy County? Hypocrites. Mauro Garza, how do you feel? How do you feel someone such as Susan trying to mask her donation? She doesn't want you to know, Mauro, that she's playing both sides. Is she going to be supportive of you? Let's say hypothetically, Mauro, let's say hypothetically that Steve Guerra were to win the Democratic primary. Let's say hypothetically, who do you think Susan's going to support? You think she's going to support you, Mauro? People might say, oh, well, Mauro's a millionaire. Mauro doesn't need Susan's $1,000. It's the principle behind it. As they say, actions speak louder than words. Or am I wrong? Is Susan gonna answer to this? Again, why didn't she have the courage to use her name? Why did she have Steve Guerra try to black out the addresses for this LLC? You see, I try to be as transparent as possible. I always show my face. I always give my people my thoughts. You may not agree with it, but at least I show face. But Susan's the type of person that throws a rock and hides the hand. That's what I call a coward. If it was me that donated to a party, I would let it be known of what I did, whether that was a Democrat or a Republican. So again, I ask you, Minerva, are you going to support Mayra Flores when she wins the GOP primary for the congressional race of District 34? Are you going to support her? Is your party, your Northern Women's Club party, are you going to endorse her, or are you going to take your ball and go home? I'll be waiting, Minerva, for your response. That is what we're dealing with. And look at Susan. I'm so tired of people demanding unity during primaries. That's not how primaries work. A primary is a competitive, not a group hug. Oh, Mauro, okay. So she's saying that, hey, every person on their own, and, this isn't kumbaya. There is a winner and there's losers. The entire point of a primary is to vet candidates in public. That means examining the records or judgment of mistakes. So then why have a club? Why have a club if you're not going to get involved in supporting the nominee? It doesn't make sense to me. So you're doing all this, you're taking pictures, you're having a forum, but then your party is not going to endorse? What? So then what are you doing the forum for? If your party is not going to endorse the candidate? Really? Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Then why do you have a party then? Why are you organizing? Just because y'all are retired and don't have anything to do and just want to pass time? Oh my goodness. It's a club, Frankie. It's a club to get involved. It's a club to change the community. It's a club to make a difference. That's what I see. Well, then a private one. Well, then don't call it the Republican Party Club. Call it the ladies of Cameron County. You see? Oh my goodness. That is why the Republican Party is so fragmented. Oh, let me create a Republican Party, but then we're not going to endorse the Republican nominee. No, it's a private one. Well then have a private forum. Don't invite the community. My goodness. A club, whatever you want to call it, Minerva. It's the same crap. Don't get involved in politics if you're not going to endorse anybody. If this is a retirement club, focus on the birds and the bees. But you're titling it Republican Women. Don't get involved in politics then. Don't create the club if you're not going to endorse the nominee. It doesn't make sense. But let me guess. If Eric Flores is the candidate, your party's going to endorse, right? It's the same crap, Minerva. Party, club, party. Es lo mismo. It's the same crap. So let me ask you this. Erasmo was never accepted by the party either. He couldn't stand Mayra. Why are you over there, Pancho? I'm here because I believe in Mayra. Mayra is the candidate for us. The Republican Party have turned their backs on women. They're turning their backs on Jenny Lopez. They're turning their backs on Mayra Flores. Eric Flores is a rhino. Plain and simple. Minerva Simpson and them, they don't care. They say, Daddy Trump endorsed him. Daddy. You know that there was $1 million donation given to the Trump campaign, right? That is the only reason why Eric Flores got that endorsement. Because of, what's her name? Adrian Peña from Hidalgo County. Now she's married to a millionaire. They made $1 million donation. That's the way it works. You think President Trump has cleaned up the swamp? No. The swamp is alive and well. So I ask you, Minerva, if Eric Flores is the nominee, is your club, is your party, whatever you want to call it, are they going to endorse Eric? I would dare say yes. Hypocrites. Let's go back to where we were. The primaries are not a kumbaya moment. Back to work. Well, thank you for tuning in, Minerva. I hope to see you. Maybe you could come on. I have a lot of questions for you, Minerva. I would love to have you on. I'm going to clip this. I'm going to remember this. And if by a miracle Eric Flores gets the nomination, guess who's going to be endorsing him? I'm going to clip this and I'm going to throw it back in your face, man. Have a good day. If a candidate can't withstand scrutiny from within their own party, they have zero business facing Democrats, the media, and national opposition. You see what she's saying, Mauro? So she claims to be a Republican, that the candidate in the Republican Party, they should face scrutiny because they have to face the Democrats. What a hypocrite Susan is, too. Look what she says, Mauro. If we want to win, we must stop confusing comfort with strength. Let me make this very clear. This is my page. If my opinions bother you, if my tone offends you, or if my posts upset you, you are free to scroll on. Nobody's forcing you to monitor my content. It's your full-time job. Look what she says here, Mauro. If we want to win, we stop confusing comfort with strength. If we want to win, she's identifying herself as a Republican, Mauro. But you know who she's helping? She's helping a Democrat, Mauro Garza. The Housewives of Cameron County. Again, why do you create a club if you're not going to participate in the elections and endorse the will of the people? Look, this is what a primary is. And I semi-quasi agree with Susan. Hey, I have my candidate, Minerva, you have your candidate, but whoever wins, I'm going to support. And I'm going to endorse to beat Vicente because I do want a red Republican to represent District 34. But why are you going to create a club? Why are you going to have a forum if you're not going to endorse the will of the people? So then the people's vote does not matter. Is that what we're going at? So whatever the people say, doesn't matter. We're not going to endorse nobody. Then why create a club? Maybe I'm dumb here. I don't know. But good God Almighty. Oh, here we have Susan. Look at her face. She's in awe. Oh my God. Who is this man, you may ask? Eric Flores' father, Kino Flores. Mr. 10%. Look at her face. Look how in awe she is. It's as if he's a movie star. He's a rock star. Susan for the Corrupt is looking corruption in the face. Why? Because he was found guilty of 6 felony counts of corruption on multiple crimes in a case involving allegations that he sold access to the legislature. That is who Susan is looking and glowing with joy. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness, my goodness. If I would have told you without providing proof, y'all wouldn't have believed me. Because that is what this party is about, hypocrisy. Many people claim, it's not united because of people like Minerva Simpson, because of people like Susan Rubalcaba, because of people like Deborah Bell. Everything that they criticize Morgan Graham on, they have become and to a whole nother level. You see, Deborah Bell couldn't stand the heat. She knew that Mayra Flores' team was going to actively work against her. And she took the coward way out. And she said, oh, no, I'm bowing out. And Susan says, oh, what a great tenure. What did she do? She is best known for endorsing by spending money on Democrats, something Minerva Simpson was never vocal about. Why? If she was never vocal about it, I can only assume, and I know I shouldn't assume because I make a butt of you and I, but I can only assume that she was okay with it because she didn't say anything. But if Morgan Graham would have done that, oh, baby, you know they would have ridden her to town. They would have taken her to Chinatown. Ladies and gentlemen, let's call a spade a spade. Susan Rubalcaba is a fraud. Susan Rubalcaba is a phony. She does not have the best interest of the party as a whole. Quino Flores is known as being corrupt. Now he has his son in politics. And again, going back to what I said earlier, Luis Buentello worked for Salomon Ortiz, a former congressman for the Corpus area, for this area, for many years. And one thing that he said stood out to me at the forum. He said, if you allow it, corruption will take your soul. DC is a den of thieves. And here we have Minerva Simpson. Here we have Susan Rubalcaba wanting to send this thief, this person that was, and you may say, Frankie, he's not part of the campaign. Are you serious? You think Quinton, you think Eric Flores' campaign manager, Quinton, is the one that is running the show? No. It's Mr. 10% himself. Look at her, all proud to support and have a Democrat win. Is this what the Republican Party of Cameron County is all about? Hypocrites? It's going to be interesting to see how Susan tries to spin it. She's going to say, oh, it's my money. What is she going to tell Mauro? Mauro Garza, what do you have to say that people within your party have no faith in you, sir? You have your faith in Minerva Simpson? You have your faith in someone such as Susan Rubalcaba? Have you even asked to meet me, who's got the biggest platform here in Brownsville in regards to politics? But no. You think that the Northern Women's Club of Cameron County are going to endorse you. They said they're not. You think someone such as Susan Rubalcaba is going to endorse you. I've already showed you that she's not. Let's call a spade, ladies and gentlemen. This person is a fake. She's a phony, and she is for the corrupt. Simple as that. An individual that has taken out PP loans during COVID, shortly after COVID, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we can prove, bought a condo that was foreclosed on. She can't handle her finances for her business. She had her condo foreclosed on. That leads to many questions to my team, because they said, if this individual mismanaged money, what does it show? She's bleeding money. And again, she's been ravaging Maida for months about drawing a paycheck, yet she's out there conniving, making people believe she's a Republican, telling people that she supports Republican candidates. Then she turns around and donates to Steve Guerra in the Democratic primary race? Really? Did she not think that Frankie Olivo was going to investigate this? What's going to be her excuse if Steve Guerra wins the Democratic primary? Will she continue funneling monies to Guerra, or will she support the Republican nominee, in this case, Mauro Garza? I feel sorry for Mauro. Because just the way Lorraine said it in the video that we started today's program, the party's not going to endorse you, Mauro. You may not like what I have to say, Mauro, but I hope you appreciate it, because I keep it a buck, how the young ones say. I keep it real. I may be blunt, and you may not like what I have to say, but I say it the way it is. Mauro Garza, I hope you reach out to me. I hope we could have a sit down, because Minerva Simpson just stated that her club, party, whatever you want to call it, is not going to endorse you. Don't count on their support. I'm showing you, Mauro Garza, that Susan Rubalcaba, if Steve Guerra were to win, is not going to endorse you. As they say, it's never a dull day in Cameron County politics. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Best believe we'll come on through Friday religiously. We'll continue to talk about what's most important in our community. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We are almost at the 1,000 subscriber mark. We are 31 subscribers away. Ladies and gentlemen, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. All I ask in my community is something very simple. Subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frank Olivo TV. It's free. My name is Frank Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace! Ooh.